Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for May 6, 2025. I'm Jefferson County Commissioner Leslie Dahlkemper here with Commissioner Zenzinger and Commissioner Kerr. Our clerk this morning is Anna Zendejas, and our host is Elaine Blomquist, who will handle requests for public comment and public testimony sign up in the chat for those of you who are joining us this morning virtually. There are several ways to join our hybrid meeting, all of which are listed on our website at jeffco.us. And please know you're always welcome to reach out to the Board of County Commissioners on our website at jeffco.us or by email at commish@jeffco.us. We would also like to ask everyone to please go ahead and silence your phones for our meeting this morning. We appreciate it. And next, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on our agenda is public comment, and the board will take up to 15 minutes of public comment at the start of our meeting, and that's specifically for items that are not listed on our agenda. We'll begin with those who have signed up for public comment, and then we'll check with everyone in the hearing room to see if there's anyone else who'd like to address the board, and we'll also check to see if there's anyone joining us online as well. A reminder for those of you who are joining us virtually, please be sure to log into our meeting using a computer, send a note in the chat with your full name, address, and topic, and when it's your turn to speak, the host will unmute you. The chat function is seen only by the host, and no comments are retained in the record. First up for public comment, I have Gary Thiessen. Gary, if you please come forward. And the topic that Mr. Thiessen mentioned here is appeal discussion. You have 3 minutes, and if you please first share your address with us.
Okay, it's I'm speaking for my sister. It's 7994 West 108th Avenue. Okay. My name's Gary Tyson. I'm speaking for my sister Glennon Ozawa. I'm speaking on case number 24-100-589 RZ Paul Olson, rezoned from R2 to I3 for 8567 West 108th Avenue. The Board of Commissioners voted to approve the rezoning 9/17/24. I wanted to appeal that decision. I contacted the zoning department and asked for the procedure to appeal. They stated they do not have a procedure and recommended I write a letter to the Board of Commissioners. I did that on 9/27, 10 days after the decision, and hand delivered it to the board's office, not realizing that you're closed on Friday. I placed it in the mailbox, your mailbox outside. Didn't get a reply from the board for about a week and found out the board had kicked it down the road and sent my letter to the planning and zoning department. I talked to Mr. O'Keefe. He was very helpful. We set up a meeting and reviewed my issues with the decision. He sent me a case study for my review. He explained the need needed to take up with the planning commissioners. There's 2 commissioner groups. I didn't realize there were 2 commissioner groups. So I started attending planning commissioner meetings. I went to the next meeting and spoke with Mr. Lyles, head commissioner. He was very nice, but he informed me it was too late to appeal. I guess there was only a 30-day chance to appeal. I lived on the site for over 45 years and I have friends and siblings who lived adjacent to the site. I was aware of many zoning violations from the neighbors, violations by Paul Olson from 2016 to 2024 for like 8 years. Most violations were not resolved. The county suggested to rezone the property, and that would get rid of many violations. I attend the next 5 monthly planning meetings using my 3 minutes to expose false items on the application, unpermitted and uninspected construction on the property. My particular concern was fire danger to the neighborhood where my siblings lived and pollution, health, safety, and welfare concerns expressed by the witnesses. There were 7 witnesses that expressed that. The last meeting, I was told by Mr. Lyles there was nothing they could do. They only make recommendations and the Board of Commissioners make the decisions. So here I am for the near future. The action is a black eye and danger to our community. I was informed my only solution to reverse the zoning was to hire a private lawyer and sue the county. Friends and property owners have the feeling you can't fight City Hall, so they said it's a waste of time. So I don't know where we're going there. I come from a different place. I believe we can improve procedures for a better future. Also, property owners have to document errors. It
Time.
affects future financial responsibility.
Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Thanks for being here on behalf of your sister. And if I may ask a favor, would you be willing to share the written comments from your sister with Cassie Pierce, who is our Public Affairs Director, just so the board has a copy of those comments?
This is what I've just read.
Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
That would be great. Thank you so much. You could email it to us too, whatever's easier for you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I'm going to check to see if there's anyone else in the hearing room who would like to address the Board of County Commissioners at this time during public comment. All right. And do we have anyone online, Ms. Blumquist, who'd like to speak?
No one online to speak.
Okay, that then closes this segment of public comment. We will have a second round of public comment toward the end of our meeting today. We're going to go to the minutes next, but I'm going to first check and make sure we have the date for that, which is, would it be the April 29th minutes? Next, we have the approval of the minutes dated April 29th, 2025. May I have a motion to approve?
I move for the approval of the minutes for April 29th, 2025.
Second. Ms. Endejas, will you please call the vote?
Commissioner Kerr?
Aye.
Commissioner Zenzinger?
Aye.
Commissioner Dahlkemper?
Yes, and that motion passes. Next, we have one item on the consent agenda. Commissioners, would either of you like to take this item off consent?
No, thank you.
All right. May I have a motion to approve item 6.1?
I move for the approval of consent agenda item 6.1.
Second.
Ms. Endejas, will you please call the vote?
Commissioner Kerr?
Aye.
Commissioner Zenzinger?
Aye.
Commissioner Dahlkemper?
Yes, and that motion passes. Next is our regular agenda. We have no agenda items on our regular agenda and none on our hearing consent agenda. We'll move to the hearing regular portion of our meeting, and we do have one item on our hearing regular agenda. Ms. Endejas, would you please read item 10.1 into the record?
10.1 Resolution CC 25121, case number 24-131992RZ, rezoning, case name Bortoles Residence Garage Official Development Plan, owner/applicant Barton E. Bortoles Revocable Trust, location 74 South Pine Road, Golden, approximate area 1.16 acres. Purpose to rezone from Mountain Residential 1 to Planning Development to allow for a total accessory structure square footage of 1,870 square feet and to modify the height of accessory structures. Case manager, Ellie McGahey.
Thanks so much, Ms. Endejas. And we'll go next to Case Manager Ellie McGahey with our Planning and Zoning Division for a brief presentation on item 10.1.
Good morning, Chair and fellow commissioners. My name is Allie McGahey, and today we'll be talking about case number 24-131992 RZ, located at 74 South Pine Road in Golden. The applicant is requesting to rezone the 1.16 acre property from Mountain Residential 1 to planned development to allow for a total accessory square footage of 1,870 square feet and to modify the height of accessory structures. The subject property is in west central Jefferson County, northeast of the intersection of US Highway 40 and South Lookout Mountain Road. The current zone district allows for the subject property to have all residential uses as defined by the MR1 zone district. The applicant is requesting to allow for planned development based on the residential 1 zone district with specific modifications to the allowed size of accessory structures and their maximum heights, along with restrictions for a maximum lot number of 1. Staff, Planning Commission, and the Board of County Commissioners review zoning applications against the criteria shown here. The first criterion taken into consideration is compatibility with the existing and allowable land uses in the surrounding area. The proposed plan development is based on the R1 zone district and is in keeping with the existing surrounding residential land uses. The proposal is to allow for increased accessory square footage to accommodate the existing garage structure and a proposed garage. The existing single-family home does not currently meet the setback standards of the MR1 zone district and would be brought into conformance because it meets the setback standards of the R1 zone district. And staff finds that the proposed impacts to the surrounding community would be minimal and that the proposal is compatible with the existing and allowable residential land uses in the area. The second criterion taken into consideration is the degree of conformance with the Comprehensive Master Plan, commonly referred to as the CMP. The CMP recommends a land use recommendation of area of stability, which means that any new proposals should not increase in density and are to remain consistent with the character, scale, use, and typical lot sizes within the area. Staff has concluded that the request meets this recommendation and is in general conformance with all applicable goals and policies of the CMP. Moving on to the third criterion, staff has not identified unmitigated negative impacts of this request. Visual impacts to the surrounding area will remain similar, and the proposed garage will be limited in height to a maximum height of 18 feet to reduce visual impacts to the surrounding area. As defined by the fourth outline criterion, staff's analysis found that the existing infrastructure and services are adequate to support the proposal. And staff finds that per the final criterion that the proposed rezoning will not negatively impact the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area, and there are no known unmitigated impacts with this development. Public notification for this case was done in accordance with the regulations of the zoning resolution. Staff received 4 public comments regarding this application. However, staff does find that the concerns have been mitigated. Staff's analysis concludes that the proposed rezoning is in general conformance with the land use recommendations and policies of the CMP. No potential negative impacts to the surrounding community were identified, and infrastructure and services are in place to support the proposed use. The application meets all rezoning criteria specified in the zoning resolution, and staff has no unresolved issues related to this rezoning application. And based upon these findings, staff is recommending approval. As far as the Planning Commission goes, no citizens requested to testify for or against the application on the hearing on April 9th, and Planning Commission recommended unanimous approval of the proposed rezoning. There was some conversation about between the Planning Commission and the applicant clarifying the difference between a rezoning and a variance, and with respect to the facts of the case, Planning Commission confirmed with staff that multifamily uses will not be allowed under the proposed rezoning, and that would require a separate rezoning application for approval. And so, yeah, they did recommend unanimously 7-0 approval on this case. And if the rezoning is approved, the applicant would be required to apply for building permits. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Ms. McGahey. We do have a question from Commissioner Zenzinger.
So that was going to be my question about why are they seeking a rezoning versus a variance? And I didn't understand your explanation. Could you just repeat that?
So there are a couple of different site constraints related to the setbacks of the current zone district. So with this application, it would kind of correct some of those setbacks. As far as the variance over the rezoning fit more into the realm of the general recommendation of the comp plan. So staff had recommended going that approach instead.
Thanks.
Thanks, Commissioner Zenzinger. Commissioner Kerr, any questions? Okay.
This time.
All right, thank you, and none from me. Thanks again for the presentation. Next, we'll hear from the applicant's team. If we can have you come forward, if you'd like to present at this time. And as you're working your way to the front, we'll ask you to please come to the mic, whether you'd like to sit here or speak there, whatever is most comfortable for you. Just if you would share your name, spell your last name, provide your address, and the clerk will swear you in before you present. Thanks.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Jonathan Bortles, Bortles. I live at 109 Lookout Mountain Circle, Golden 80401. Is there something else?
I'm going to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, you may continue. You will have 20 minutes to present today.
We'll also be speaking as well. Let's go ahead and get you sworn in too.
Morning. Christopher Murto, M-I-R-T-O. Address is 1600 38th Street, Suite 102, Boulder, 80301.
Okay.
Great, thank you both and welcome. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Thanks for taking the time today to talk about this project with us. A little bit of backstory. I'm a third generation Jeffco resident, second generation business owner here in the county. And I say that just because I want to make sure you guys know how committed I am to our neighborhood, our community, and the reputation we have here and been building here for a long time. With that, my father, who purchased 74 South Pine Road a few years back, originally purchased the Golden Eagle Saloon in downtown Golden, 1986. He later turned that into Woody's Wood-Fired Pizza in 93, which is a business that I run for our family today. In 2019, he had a major stroke while he was living on a ranch on the western slope, and we moved him over here to this address to be closer to family and so we can kind of help him, keep an eye on him. With his move over here, he did bring some of his classic cars and vehicles. He was an eclectic man. And the old 1950s era garage on this property did not fit those vehicles. So pretty quick, he hired a contractor to help him build some carports or a carport to accommodate these vehicles. And pretty quick, November of 2023, I showed up to the house and one of the contractors hands me a form to fill out for, I don't remember if it was a permit or a variance or what. And I said, excuse me. And come to find out, they hadn't done what they said they were going to do. And we immediately stopped construction. We fired the contractor and we came to seek the assistance of the county to try to do this the right way. Since then, and that was about November of 2023, we hired Chris in PEH Architecture to help us through this process. I don't know anything about this. I sell pizza. We were assigned a case manager with Allie in August, and eventually were advised to pursue the rezoning as the cleanest and best fit for proceeding on this project, and that's what we did. In September of 2024, we had the community meeting, which was really interesting. I think the term plan development can really alarm people. I don't think that's very clear on what we were trying to accomplish, and folks thought we were going to be doing multifamily and commercial and all these other uses that we have then and now never had any interest in pursuing. We tried to communicate that, and I've continued to meet with neighbors over the last year to try to ease concerns and be as transparent and helpful as a neighbor as possible, so that there's no hard feelings and that we do right by the community. Some of those concerns have continued to persist despite the clarity in which I think Allie's done a great job of presenting. In December of 24, my dad slipped and fell on the property and quickly passed away. And he left the property to my kids for college investment, if you will. So we're here kind of picking up that ball and running to the end zone and hoping we can continue owning that property for the long term. Also want to point out that although there's some concern from the neighbors, we have tried to go above and beyond, including adding written restrictions in this process via the county attorney to show that we will not subdivide this property in the future. We'll be more restrictive in the height requirements that would otherwise be allowed under this zoning. And of course, I've offered to make things right if there's any other damages or anything that's occurred to this date. We want to do right by the neighborhood. And with that, I'll let Chris talk about the project.
Thanks, John. Allie, are those slides queued up? Great, thank you. So like John said, we just wanted to give a little more context to what's going on in and around his property. And Allie will take us through the 4 or 5 slides that we put together to try to demonstrate some of that context. And so this first slide is to try to demonstrate some other properties in the vicinity of John's property that have rather large accessory structures, none of which we're trying to achieve. We're just trying to, as Allie mentioned in the beginning, just try to slightly increase the allowable accessory square footage. And so these are just a few examples of some of those large accessory structures that exist around the property. So Allie, we can go to the next slide now. And this is a site plan to try to show some context for the property. And so tried to color code a few things. The lighter tan is existing structure. So top left is the existing house. Top right is the existing garage. The green is the existing landscaped area. The pink is existing hardscape area that's sort of a either a parking area or a recreation area. The gray is the existing paved driveway, and the darker orange is the proposed garage, second accessory garage. We can go to the next one now. And so this is a view from the street of don't pay attention to the, I think that's a pizza oven that's kind of parked in that photo right now, but pay no attention to that. This is just trying to show some context for what the proposed garage would look like if it were built. And so as we've described there, we would pick some colors that would be compatible with, kind of existing, earth tones. So browns, earth and greens, those sorts of colors. And you can see that it's not an enclosed garage. It is an open garage. And just trying to show the relationship of the garage to the setback, and then the fact that it's tucked into the hillside. And we'll show that a little bit more in the next slide too, how, yeah, perfect. Thank you. That was a great transition. And so this is a view as if you were standing on the neighbor's property to the east, looking to the west. So you'd be standing uphill. And so you can kind of just see the top of the garage poking up over the top of the hill there, and tried to demonstrate there's some existing vegetation there that helps screen the garage as well. So just trying to show that we're trying to mitigate the impact of the garage as much as possible. And like John said, further restricting the height through this ODP from I think it was 25 feet was the existing previous to this, and we're restricting that down to 18 feet. So I think that's our last slide. Thank you. So just wanted to, like I said, give a little more context of the neighborhood.
Great, thank you both. Don't go far. I've got one quick follow-up question for you, and I'll check with the commissioners too to see if they have any questions they'd like to ask at this time. You had talked, and Ms. McGahey also talked about how you've worked to respond to community members who may have raised some concerns. And you gave 2 examples about written restriction to show that you do not wish to subdivide the property, and then also the height restriction, which you also, both of you touched on as well. Were there any other key concerns that you heard from nearby residents that you've also worked with them on?
Yeah, and again, I don't know where it's coming from, but the idea that this somehow will become multi-development or multi-family development, if we could put a written restriction in there, I'd be happy to, but my understanding is that's not necessary because any development of that nature would need to come through the zoning process again. So almost that it's implied, but working with them to say this is just a carport, this is not opening up a can of worms for the future. This is a one and done situation that we're trying to make the best of.
Great, thank you both. Commissioners, do you have any questions at this time?
Questions?
Okay, great, thank you. Thank you. Next, we'll move to public testimony, and we're taking public testimony on this issue only for those of you who are in person or who are joining us virtually. If you're joining us online and wish to comment on this particular case, please use the chat function and share your name. Let the host know that you'd like to testify. Each person will have 3 minutes, and those who are registered by their associations to testify on this item and that are within the notification area will have 10 minutes. Is there anyone in the hearing room who would like to testify on this issue? All right. Is there anyone joining us online?
No one online.
Thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and close public testimony at this time. And I will ask commissioners if you have any additional questions or comments before we move to a motion. Okay. May I have a motion for hearing regular agenda item 10.1?
I move for the approval of hearing regular agenda item 10.1.
Second?
Thank you. Ms. Zendejas, will you please call the vote?
Commissioner Kerr,
Aye.
Commissioner Zenzinger,
Aye.
Commissioner Delkemper.
Yes, and that motion is approved. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. Next on our agenda is our second round of public comment. And does anyone who is either in the hearing room or joining us virtually wish to provide public comment on an item that is not on today's agenda? Double checking to make sure we have no one online.
No one online.
All right, thank you so much. We will go ahead and close this second portion of public comment, and we will move next to commissioner reports. And with that, I'll turn to Commissioner Zenzinger.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Just a couple of items. Had a really good conversation with members of the Plan Jeffco Board of Directors and a couple of their affiliate members. Discussed the history of Plan Jeffco, the background to the evolution of the Jeffco Parks and Open Space, and they offered up a number of really good ideas, I think, for re-engaging the volunteers that are associated with Plan Jeffco. And then also they expressed a desire to perhaps think in the future about acquiring more open space properties, not for the purposes of recreation, but for the purposes of conservation. More opportunities to preserve nature, and really ask that we might consider that request or that vision in the future. And I thought it was pretty poignant, especially given some of the national conversations that are happening regarding federal public lands. I thought it was some good advice to the board here about looking in our own backyard and determining whether we have a good, healthy balance between those more cultured, recreational type of open space facilities like our trails and our parks and so on, versus just open space for the benefit of having open space. So good conversation. I hope to bring this up in the future. I did discuss it a little bit with our county manager about, I think it would be a good idea if we engaged with them a little bit more, just get to know the current group of folks and hear from them. I think they have a lot to offer. Secondly, I attended the CASA Champions Breakfast, and I know that Commissioner Dahlkemper sits on their board, so I'll let her talk about that a little bit. Also attended the Westminster Chambers Business and Governmental Affairs Committee meeting, and one of the interesting comments that were made there came from a member of the Westminster City Council, where she expressed appreciation over the tour that she took of the Rocky Mountain Airport. So it was really Claire Carmelia. She was the member in attendance and talked about just her interest and thanked the staff at the airport for what she said was a very enlightening tour. Also had the pleasure of being a judge for the National Civics Bee. We got to participate in the audience along with the contestants in the first 2 rounds of the trivia, the civics trivia. I'm not saying I came in first, but very close. And then the top 5 students moved on to the 3rd written and oral round, where they made presentations about their papers that they submitted. These papers were to identify a problem in the community and identify a solution to solve that issue. And they needed to connect it to the founding principles, as well as the civic virtues that are in place for our country. So it was very inspiring to listen to these young people talk about their projects and their ideas. In the end, the winner will advance to the state competition. That winner is Cameron Parker, and his idea was for an app that would be developed and free to the public in order to do better wildfire alerts for folks. So he really felt like there are some apps out there, but you have to pay for them, or they are not being used. And so it was a great presentation, and he did a really good job. So I just want to say congratulations to all the students that participated. It's very inspiring as a person in government. And then lastly, we did have the Jefferson Center for Mental Health board meeting last night, and I think it was a record for the shortest meeting. So we were, it was 20 minutes. So we are in that period where we're waiting for the new executive director to begin. She will begin later this week or early next week. And our former executive director, her last day was on Friday. So
I dealt with that coal mine yesterday.
I'm sorry, we should probably kill the mic. I don't know who that might have been.
but
Are
I
we all
think that is a sign to wrap it up. So there you go.
Thanks, Commissioner Zenzinger. Very cool about that wildfire app. We'll have to circle back to that student, find out more. Commissioner Kerr.
Great, thank you. I wanted to mention, I did go to, speaking of Jefferson Center for Mental Health, went to going away party for former executive director Kira Kunzler over in Edgewater at their marketplace. Good to see some folks and to say goodbye to her, and a job well done here in Jefferson County. Saturday made it up to Willow Springs for the Firewise recognition by West Metro Fire. And let me see if I get, I'm not going to remember the number of households, but in that Willow Spring area, it's about 1,000 households. There are 11 HOAs. And so it's interesting, and a lot of folks there, a lot of our fire mitigation specialists with West Metro were there. And I know Sean Jewell and perhaps Commissioner Dahlkemper will remember everyone else's name, but I remember speaking to Sean Jewell. But really, really great work by the residents to pull together and work across HOA lines to make sure that their entire larger community is doing everything it can to be fire-wise. And just want to take the moment again to mention, and even on a cloudy, overcast, rainy day like today, we do live in a climate. We live in a ecology that fire is a part of where we live. And while fire has been suppressed for the most part for the last 100 years, that is probably partially why we've had some of the most catastrophic fires in the West in the last few years. But a reminder that we need to figure out how to live with fire, not just try to have it not exist, because it will exist. We will have fires in our community. We will have fires in our foothills. Our open space folks are doing quite a bit to help with that as well. But we do need to work within Mother Nature and know that fire is a part of our community, and that is why we call it fire wise, not fire suppression, not zero fire. We call it fire wise, that we need to be wise in how we deal with that. And also wanted to, yesterday, I'd like to say that I was invited, but I'll say I invited myself to the governor's residence, where they it was pretty neat, though, that the governor and Union Pacific were there to sign a long-term agreement on the use of the Moffett Tunnel. A lot of the folks that are working with both the mountain rail system and also the Front Range passenger rail, but a lot of the CDOT folks, a lot of the other folks in the governor's office and Union Pacific and the larger transportation community at large were here to witness the signing of the agreement moving forward. As the CEO of Union Pacific was mentioning, is that the Moffett Tunnel, while it is busy, and there are certainly times when trains are waiting for each other, but overall, the Moffett Tunnel is underutilized for its capacity. And especially with the mountain rail that is planned to come through Jefferson County, and hopefully we can figure out where our stop along the mountain rail corridor will be here in Jefferson County, and get people commuting up and down that corridor all the way out to Craig, Steamboat Craig, Yampa Valley. So that was exciting to see that. That's it.
All right, great. Yep. Breaking news.
Well, it was breaking news about 10:30 last night, but I would be remiss for not saying congratulations to the Nuggets for showing you don't ever give up, you don't ever give up, you don't ever give up. So with that, that's all I got.
Thanks, Commissioner Kerr. And as it turns out, May is Wildfire Preparedness Month, and in Jefferson County, we are working on multiple fronts and many issues, including an updated community wildfire preparedness plan, which really goes into detail. It's on our website at jeffco.us about 8 key strategies that Jefferson County in this effort is led by Brian Keating with the Jeffco Sheriff's Office, who is the fire management officer. Strategies we have underway to build greater wildfire resiliency, also working with our Jeffco Open Space team on improved forest health that is grounded in science, as well as controlled burns, a new and expanded countywide definition of wildland-urban interface. That matters because that potentially helps to attract more grants, especially for homeowners, doing really good work, including defensible space, delivering that slash to those slash sites that we work with our partners like Jefferson Conservation District to head up, and also continuing to work on the issues of homeowners insurance and the increased costs we've seen there. And we really want to encourage you, just as you heard Commissioner Kerr mention, the Firewise Adapted Community that we visited in Willow Springs, and we could see just in the backdrop where the quarry fire reached the ridge of the hill. And it was exciting to be nearby to actually see this community thoroughly engaged, rolling up its sleeves to help reduce wildfire risk. It really does take all of us working together to make a difference. And we're so grateful for all of our partners countywide, including our fire chiefs, our wildfire ambassadors, our county departments, and many, many more who are involved in this effort to save lives, protect homes, and more. In addition, I'm going to keep with the wildfire theme for a moment and scroll down, because Delta County Commissioner Wendell Kuntz and I had an opportunity to testify last week before a House Legislative Committee in favor of changes to the Wildland Urban Interface Code Board. We've been working with Senators Cutter and Baisley on this issue, and they have been great about listening to our concerns that we had here in Jeffco regarding the governance as well as the timeline. And we've also worked with Teller County Commissioner Dan Williams on this. We're happy to say that bill got out of committee, it was approved, and it will provide more time to counties to implement the new WUI codes, Wildland Urban Interface codes, for stronger wildfire resiliency. And it also allows counties to enter into cooperative agreements with fire rescue districts for stronger enforcement. So again, a big thanks to Representative Velasco, the House sponsor, and Senators Cutter and Baisley for sponsoring the bill. We also had a chance, it was a lot of fun on Saturday morning to go up to Elk Meadow in Evergreen with 20 volunteers from WildAware and Jeffco Open Space who were removing, I think ultimately they removed about a mile of barbed wire, if I'm not mistaken, along the highway there where you see a lot of elk migration back and forth. And I know for sure Commissioner Kerr and I have been stuck in some of those elk commuter jams on our way to the Evergreen Chamber meeting and other meetings. So just a huge shout out to our partners, Jeffco Open Space, CDOT, WildAware, Evergreen Chamber was there, and all of the volunteers who took time out of their day to remove barbed wire that can be very dangerous for wildlife, and especially dangerous and even fatal, even lethal for fawns and elk calves and more, exactly, for little guys. So really just great work to all of our partners involved. I'm right there with you, Commissioner Zenzinger. I'm just scrolling here to see what else we might have. Yes, agree. Wonderful to see the transformational work of CASA of Jeffco and Gilpin counties. It was really incredible to hear the story of an individual who is a former CASA kid, essentially, who then went on to become a CASA, and the amazing work that he and so many other volunteers are doing on behalf of abused and neglected children and representing them through the court system. Also, a huge, huge shout out to Leah Varnell for more than 20 years of leadership and service to CASA. She is retiring and stepping down as the executive director, and Melissa Helmuth, who's been with the organization for many years, will serve now as the executive director. And I'm very proud to have been a past board member as well as serve currently on the advisory council. I think those are, I'm just scrolling quickly to see if there's anything else to share. And those are all my updates at this time. Thank you so much. And next I'll turn it over to our county manager, Joe Kirby.
Good morning, commissioners. I don't have any update for you this morning, but I do want to make a comment regarding Commissioner Kerr's reference to the Nuggets. So out of the 2.5-hour game, I watched 1 minute and 40 seconds of that game, and it happened to be the last 1 minute and 40 seconds of the game. So sounds like it was the best part of the game overall. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Joe. County Attorney Kim Sorrells.
So I'm glad you crashed the Moffett Tunnel meeting, conference, whatever. I was actually invited, but I couldn't attend because I had a conflicting work meeting. So I'm glad you got to enjoy it. But yeah, I want to thank Kate Newman for also helping work on that. She and I were the two county participants with the information on that. So it's good to see that coming to fruition. Other than that, no updates. Thanks.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Kim, to you and to Kate for your help on that effort. Really appreciate it. And we want to thank everyone who joined us today. Thank you so much for being here. We'll now adjourn this public hearing and we'll reconvene in our work session at 10 o'clock on the 5th floor. Thanks, everyone.